All right, so I think we are live. I'm pulling up Facebook to see if I can figure it out. It says going live in 1 minute and 57 seconds on, oh, and the other says we are live. So I'm not
Yeah.
sure if we're live out there, people. We are glad you're here with us today. This is my first time to do a Facebook Live for the bridge. I've done them personally, but they're always with the cell phone walking down the street or something. So this is a little more professional. So we'll see. I am Tammie Nielsen. I'm with the Bridge Over Troubled Waters. And I have been with the bridge for 2 years. Well, in 11 days, I'll have been the communications director for 11 years. Prior to that, I was on the board for 5 years. And prior to that, Debbie Mosley, who was the executive director for a very long time, mentored me as I was the chairman of the board of Sarah's House for several years when it first got started. So that's how I actually got connected to Sarah's house, to the bridge, was because I didn't know what I was doing somewhere else, and they talked me through it. So, and today we have Aimee Ashcroft with us, and she is the co-pastor along with her husband John at CT Church Pasadena. Today is the first time I've actually spoken with her other than on the phone. So I'm going to get to know her along with everyone else. We have 8 viewers, and I want to appreciate everyone for being on with us today. Be kind, give us grace. This is our first one. Show us some love with some likes and shares. And I will try, if y'all want to ask questions, I will try and get to them, but I am not promising it. So with that, I'd like Aimee to tell us a little bit about yourself and what you do at the church.
All right. Yes, my name is Aimee. My husband and I, we've been married for 26 years. We have 4 adult children, which I cannot believe because I'm not old enough to have adult children. So, 2 of our kids got married, I think, within 6 months of each other just this year. So that's crazy. We have been in Pasadena for 6 years. We moved from Arkansas, which is beautiful country. It's lakes and mountains and valleys and hills and green and trees. And we moved here. So I tell people that this is, and please nobody take offense to this, but this is the ugliest place I've ever lived, but it's the most beautiful place I have ever lived, truly. This is my home. This is my heart. The people here, you guys are amazing. Everybody here is amazing. So we moved here to pastor the church at CT Pasadena, and it's been a ride. It's been an adventure. I love it. I am the person at our campus who I pretty much do all the counseling. I meet with the majority of the people. My passion, love people so much. My passion is to help people see what is inside them that they might not be able to see or they believe about themselves, and extract that so they can know just how amazing they are and that they were created to do something incredible and bring a change in this world. We are all needed. There is not one person more important than the other. So that's my heart and that's my passion, and that's pretty much what I do every single day.
Well, first time we spoke, you said something that really stuck out to me, and it was about finding gold in everyone. Mm-hmm. Tell me first, how you find that gold, and then what do you do with it? How do you get that person to build on that?
Okay. Extension 1. So how do you find the gold? I believe that starts with the belief that everyone has something to offer in the world. So no matter their age, no matter their race, their station in life, wherever they are in life, everyone is valuable. So I spent last year, I was teaching a module in a class called Kingdom Leadership Institute. It's about leadership. And in order for me to teach in that module, I was studying highly successful people groups in the world. So one of those people groups that I was studying was the Jewish people. And the Jewish people have a principle that they live their life by, and I love it. And that principle is everyone teaches. So it's possible for us all to learn from everyone. And if we approach the world like this, that every single person that we come into contact with that crosses our path during a day, whether it be the waiter, whether it be the janitor, whether it be the CEO of a company, the cashier at the grocery store, no matter who we come into contact with, that person has something to teach me in that moment. So even in the times where we are completely frustrated with somebody, you know, all of us have those people in our lives that rub us the wrong way, that it takes an extra special grace for that day to get through that moment with them. We become impatient and frustrated. If we can teach ourselves to live by the principle that every single person is teaching something, then we can back up from our emotions of that moment and say, okay, what can I learn from this person? So whether they are a child, you know, sometimes people dismiss children. 4-year-olds can teach a whole lot. So whether it is a child, whether it is an elderly person who is at the last stages of their life, whether it's someone who is disabled or whether it's someone who is fully capable at the top of their game, whether it is somebody who is poor or whether it is somebody who's highly successful, there are lessons that we are to learn. And if we have our eyes open to see that every single person is teaching something, then that tells you that everybody has gold inside them. So some of those people may not understand that. Some of those people who are in the hardest struggles of their life don't realize the gold that's inside them. So it's our job to be able to look at them and say, hey, this may be where you are right now, but this isn't who you are right now. This moment doesn't define you. So you may be in chaos, you may be in a financial mess, but the financial mess isn't who you are. That's not where you're going to be. So if we can learn from everybody, see that everybody has value, that's the first step in discovering the gold. And then what do you do with that once you discover it? So everybody wants to make a difference in the world. They want the world to know that they were here. I've always said about my own life, when I die, I want the world to know that I was here and that I'm not here anymore. And in other words, not that I was this super important person, but that I made a difference. And now they feel the void of my life, right? So I believe that deep down, everyone feels this way. Everyone wants that to be their epitaph.
Yeah.
So, but the problem is that life is crazy, that we get bogged down with all the little things in life that we have to do, you know, the day-to-day battles that we're facing just to survive. That busyness, those things we have to do, working a job, taking care of our family, going to school, getting an education, you know, those are the things that we have to do to survive. But those are the things that keep us distracted a lot of times from the things that we were created to do. Individually, you were created to do something that I wasn't created to do. You have a passion and I have this passion. So, but the busyness of life keeps us distracted from the very thing we're supposed to do. So what do I do with the knowledge when I discover that what somebody's goal is? First of all, you know, you have to sit down, you have to build a relationship in order to hear somebody's heart. So once you get somebody talking, they always give themselves away. If you get somebody talking for very long, you hear what their heart is. So you hear somebody's heart, you find out what excites them. Then what I try and do, I try and help them figure out a way to do what's in their heart. So practical things. I'm a very, very, very practical person. I tell people, and my husband always gets mad at me when I say this, that I swim in the shallow end, because I just deal with the practicals. And he goes, that's not shallow, Aimee. So he gets mad at me. But when I find out what is in somebody's heart, when I find out what they're good at, for instance, you're really good at encouraging people, just encouraging people. Okay, but for instance, you're stuck inside your house, you're raising little kids. So you're really not encouraging many people besides your kids. So what I would do, I would find out, man, she is incredible at encouraging people. So how can I help her have an influence? But Yes, with her children, but even outside. Can I create something in her schedule? Can I help her plan and reprioritize some things? Can I help her? Can I invite her to a group, to a luncheon, or to out, go shopping with some friends where I can use what's inside her, that gold that's inside her, to give to somebody else. So she will start seeing her own value. So I hope people make financial plans to free up money so they don't have to work 7 days a week. They can work 5 days a week and have some time in order to pursue their passions, reprioritize schedules, so they can spend their time doing what's in their heart to make a difference in the world. And that way they enjoy life. If we're living life and we are not enjoying it, it's not worth living. Everyone needs to be able to see that life can be fun, life can be enjoyable, but most people aren't enjoying it because they're not getting to do what excites them. So that's what I do. That's what I enjoy doing.
That's pretty powerful, though, right there. You said something when you're talking about it about the busyness of life, and we all have it. Everybody has it. Do you have one or two things practical things, which is I love because I'm very, give me some action points,
Okay.
Practical things that people can do to help identify that busyness in their life.
Mm-hmm.
Because sometimes we can't. We think everything we're doing is absolutely important and it has to be done.
Mm-hmm.
How do you identify what's that busyness that can be removed? Mm-hmm. and steps to actually remove it? Because it's not always, even once you've identified it, it's not always too easy to remove it.
Right. So number one thing is prioritizing. And that is especially for women. I will say this is incredibly hard for women because we run the world. Sorry, men, but it's true. We run our home life. We have raising the kids. We are in a culture where it used to be that men went to work and women stayed home. That doesn't exist anymore. Almost every single household is a 2-income household now. So we are doing so much, we're stretched in so many different directions, but there are things that if we could still our minds long enough and we sat down and we took a pen and a piece of paper and we wrote down what are the things that are suffering the most in our life. Most of the time, the things that are suffering the most in our life are the most important things. For instance, our marriages or our relationships, our friends, we don't even see our friends anymore, our children, our job situation. Those are the things that are suffering the most, because if we sit down and write down everything that we do in a day, if somebody were to catalog our day, I can tell you that my day is spent returning text messages. My phone is constantly going, because now in a world where before, when we were driving, when we were away from the house, people couldn't contact us. So they had to wait. We got home and we had these things called answering machines. And all of the messages waited for us until we got home. That isn't the case anymore. Now we carry around something with us. We carry around a computer in our pocket. So we're constantly getting our emails. We're constantly being reminded of our full schedules. People can contact us in the dentist office when we're trying to get a massage and we're trying to check out and your phone is dinging, the whole time. And we are constantly bombarded with noise. And the things that we are giving the most of our time to are the things that aren't the most important. So our social media accounts could be taking the place of in priority, taking the place of our marriage, working on our marriage. And our husbands are saying, I never see you. You always be, can you give me 20 minutes? Can we even sit down and have a conversation without you being on your phone? But we don't. And then we get to the end of our day and we're like, why is life so crazy? Why am I exhausted? Why do I feel like I could sleep for a month? Why? Well, it's because we have prioritized, or we have not prioritized our life. We have misprioritized. So my practical thing that I do myself is I sit down and I do an evaluation of my own life. Am I taking care of the things that are the most important? Those have to be scheduled. I have to sometimes schedule time with my husband on a calendar. I'm going to do this, because if I don't, My kids are to the age where they're getting ready and they're moving out. And I'm like,
Now what?
I'm going to be alone with this guy. And we've been married 26 years. Oh my goodness. Do I even know him? Do we have anything in common? Do I like him? Because I'm about to find out and I'm stuck with him. You know, what am I going to do? Children, we have our children who are going through their own hardships, but sometimes we don't know they are. Or all we see is the manifestations of a problem that's inside them. And we think they're rebellious for no reason. You know, why are you being such a jerk? Why are you being so rebellious? Well, it could be because they're missing mom and dad. They're missing interaction that they need.
Mm-hmm.
And yet we're too busy because we're so focused on working overtime. We're so focused on tending to our friend her marriage is falling apart. It doesn't matter that our marriage is falling apart because we think it's more important that we fix theirs. There is a line that has to happen in our priorities. So what do? I reprioritize. I evaluate. Once a month, I evaluate. Where am I? Have I had time with friends? Because self-care is important too. And friendship, having friendship, not people who need something from you. That's different.
Right.
There's always going to be people who need something from you, but you need to have a person in your life, friendships in your life that give back to you, that recharge you, that refuel you, that you can just be you with no makeup and yoga pants on. And there's no judging, right?
Yeah.
You have to have that. Problem is we're too busy. So reevaluate, reprioritize, and schedule things. The other thing I would say is everybody needs a day off. This is another principle that comes from the Jewish culture, that even non-practicing Jews usually will keep to this one principle, and that is to have a day off where they do no work. There's no mental stress. They arrange it to where they're taking the day off. And what that does is it allows a refocus of the things that's most important. It allows your body to reset. So some of us are working like crazy, you know, I still get guilty of this. I'll work 40, 50 hours a week sometimes in meeting with people. But then I realize when I go home, I'm crashing at night. I'm mentally exhausted. I feel like I've carried the weight of the world. My body, I'll get sick with a sinus infection and I can't kick it for 4 weeks, you know? Why? Because I'm exhausted.
Yes.
And I haven't
Absolutely.
paused. I haven't stopped and allowed a reset. And those are my biggest practical takeaways, to reprioritize and evaluate your life on a regular basis and schedule the most important things. The other stuff, leave your phones at home sometimes. The world is not going to burn to the ground. It will not
You're
burn
right.
to the ground. The people who need you the most, whose life is falling apart tonight, you know what? You can get with them tomorrow after your day off. You can get with them tomorrow because God will keep them through that 24 hours. It will happen. And then you can talk with them tomorrow. But take time for yourself, allow a reset, and reprioritize your life for the things that are most important.
Well, those are very practical. And, you know, I love that this is pretty organic because my thoughts, and I told you this, so I want to talk a little bit about leadership, about women in leadership, some of the struggles they have, how they get there. We didn't touch on it at all. So I will probably want to do this again at some point. But I think this was what people need to hear today. That's the reason I went that direction. And I was at a women's conference this weekend, and Aimee actually was one of the speakers, and she did a demonstration. I wish I'd have thought about it on prioritizing, and it was very effective. Maybe we'll get her on to do that at another time. I am going to go ahead and say thank you to everyone for being on here. Remember to like us and share. This will stay on Facebook. We had planned on going 15 minutes. We're just under 20 right now, but I think it's been a really fantastic conversation. So I didn't have any questions come up, but do you have anything you want to say, Aimee, before we break off?
I don't. Thank you for this opportunity. This is really cool. I'd love to do it again sometime. We have lots to talk about as women in the workforce and professional people and women in general.
Yes, absolutely. All right, ladies and gentlemen, thank y'all for being with us, and we will see you in about a month. Thank you. Thanks, Aimee.
All right.